right. Hello, hello. Welcome back to our Rabell Realty Group podcast. Thank you for joining us today on this lovely Labor Day. Are we laboring on Labor Day?
We are laboring on Labor Day.
No, this is just fun. This is a great way to connect with everybody. It's not really work, right? You're not supposed to work on Labor Day.
Nah. Who knows? We could be on the beach relaxing right now.
I know. Well, we'll go back to the beach when we're done with this. So, all right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us today. We have a great speaker today. A friend of ours, Matthew Barker of Cornerstone Financial. Yeah, I don't actually know the name of it. It's Cornerstone. We'll put up the logo. He'll tell us all about it. But we wanted to have him on here and talk about finances and interest rates and the markets right now, and any questions that you all had. We'll be talking with him. But I'm Kristen Rabell. I always forget.
Rebecca Johnson.
You all know us, right? We don't really have to say who we are anymore. It's my favorite time because we get to compare markets. So let's go into our Monday market moment.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening in North Central Florida in terms of the real estate market. I was all confused. I'm like, what's the J? What's the A? I forgot. We're already in September. We're racing towards the finish line.
That's why it's my favorite one. We get to compare.
Oh, my goodness.
July and August.
Let's see. So first off, Gainesville, Alachua County. We've got July versus August for active listings that are basically left over. You had 159 left in July versus 301 for August. Pending 163 versus August. Sorry, the A. I keep thinking active. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Versus 423, and then closed in July. You had 473 and 369 for August.
So wait, let's talk about this. This is crazy. So the active and pended were way less in July than August. Mm-hmm. But the closings were higher in July than in August.
Probably all those new builds finishing up.
So I think what it is that we have to explain is that the market is going down. The August numbers, a lot of those had pended and closed by the time they get there. So, or the July numbers, sorry. So the July numbers are the still active numbers and the still pended from July. Mm-hmm. And then August came in and activated and then also pended. So that's why those numbers are so drastically different, and you'll see that throughout. But really it is showing that whatever you're reading or that we're reading as realtors, the market did kind of slow down a little with closings. And yes, you're right, the A's
I know.
for August are kind of confusing with active. So yeah, July active and pended are left over, whereas the close, that's why it looks so huge. So
yes, but it is also normal for August to be slightly slower in September. People are still closing and making offers and doing things, but traditionally people like to be settled before school starts, whether they're a professor or they have children in school. So it just kind of, people like to be settled before the start of the year, which is how I think most people look at August.
Right. And it doesn't mean, right, that's the thing. This is normal in any time. So it does not mean that our market is suddenly crashing or, seeing a downward spiral. It's just normal. It's the normal time of year to see this.
Nothing special. Sorry. August and July. Right? Did I get those months right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm having a problem wrapping my head around the fact that we're in September.
4 more months till 2022.
I know. I don't know if we could take another year of the 20s. I'm over the 20s.
Right.
All right. So hopping down to the Tampa Hillsborough area, and remember, this is only Tampa Bay. This is not all of Hillsborough County. You've got 235 left active from July versus 518 from August. Pendings that are hanging over from from July, are 327 versus August, 1,169. But closings, you had in July 1,199. And August, you had 1,051.
So Gainesville just mirrors Tampa, just with more numbers.
See, Gainesville, we're not special. Right? We're just mirroring everybody else. Marion County, which I'm always fascinated with this market because the area is really growing.
We just had that Ocala picture from our listing in Ocala.
That area, they seem very pro-growth and they seem to want to do it right. So I'm totally for you, Ocala. So July, they have 190 left over versus August, 419. Which is kind of unfair to the month of August because we just ended August, so it's kind of giving August a bad look. But we'll check you later. We'll check you when we check September, August, and then July you've got 316 pending left over versus 861. So they were quite busy in Marion in August with pendings, and then they're closed. They've got 859 in July and 769 in August. And then not our favorite community, but our favorite beach community that Rabell Realty Group serves.
Right.
See how I qualified that?
I was wondering.
Our favorite beach area that we serve, St. Augustine area. It's really the only beach area. We kind of do a little bit of Clearwater, but it's kind of outside of the realm.
Right.
Anyways, that was a secret for all of them. So St. Augustine, we've got 87 active left over from July.
Well, remember, with this
right.
one MLS, we cannot show what's left over. It just shows what's currently active. Yeah. So always on active and NEFAR, we will always show what's currently active, no matter what time of year it came on.
Come on, NEFAR, get with the stellar program here.
NEFAR is actually easier to use.
I know, but shh, don't tell anybody that. Okay, so pending, you've got 37 versus 31.
That number doesn't seem right.
That's
okay.
Well, we don't know. We wing it over here. Versus closed, you've got July 71 versus August 66. That kind of makes sense to me. I would feel that St. Augustine, as we've watched, is kind of seasonal. Right. We're coming towards the end of the season. So all you people looking for beach stuff, start calling us now because we're going into the still nice but more winter months.
Right.
So,
but the numbers are showing less active, less pended, less closed as we get out of the summer months and into the fall months, and we'll continue to see that. Next week we'll be able to show 2 weeks of September, because we usually do weekly. So we'll see how September's doing, and then we'll bring these numbers back for the end of September, after the end of September, and show, is it still going down slightly, or is it, kind of stagnant and staying what we expect?
Is it
right?
spiking back up?
Or is it spiking back up, which we don't expect that, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going steady. I'm going steady.
Yep. All right, now that we're out of the numbers, let's talk other numbers. Let's bring on Matt, and he can tell us all about whatever he's allowed to tell us about.
Wait a minute, he gets a cheering introduction?
So we do know that there are some questions we can't ask and some conversations we can't have, with. Right?
Of course.
So you just keep us, on the straight and narrow as you always do.
We'll do
our stocks and bonds and retirement.
We'll do the Heisman on those questions we can't answer. How about that? I mean, we just watched some football. It's a great, we're going into our second week of football now, and
And this is like,
we already know who the Heisman candidates are, don't we?
All right. Oh, you all are in for a treat this fall.
That's the wrong podcast, okay? Yes. You got to be on the other podcast.
Okay.
Yes, Sports Talks with Kristen and Rebecca is a painful segment, typically.
Maybe I'll get an invite to premium time. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Naughty.
The noises in the background.
I know.
All right, so we talked about the real estate market, but what's happening in the stock market?
Wonderful. Yeah, great question. Obviously, this year has shaped up to be a good year so far. Still, the markets are up nicely. Through the end of August, all the indexes have great returns thus far. Looking forward, obviously that's what everybody wants to know is where's the market headed?
Right.
And I don't know that anybody has that perfect answer. I can tell you there's a lot of things that are still positive, for the markets. Obviously, I think we wanted to talk a little bit about interest rates.
Right.
Interest rates, I believe, and a lot of people believe, will still remain, fairly low and in check. The Fed obviously has the most power at this point over the markets and their decisions to taper and or raise rates or what they decide to do. So I think that's probably the biggest fear factor out there for the markets and the economy in general is inflation and interest rates. And so those are probably the most watched indicators at this point. The flow of money, the supply of money in the economy and the markets, continues to be, very good and very strong. And we can't find yield anywhere. So most investors or most people who have money or have cash to put to work, they have to look to stocks and they have to look at equities because that's the only place they can get return. So that all bodes well for the overall markets and the indexes that we all like to track and look at.
So do you find those people who have, the money and wealth to be able to do this, are they diversifying with real estate and stocks?
Absolutely. Real estate, as I've always preached from day one to my clients, is a great part of an overall portfolio. The biggest thing about real estate, I think people forget, is there's cost to owning real estate, right?
Yes, right.
A lot of people don't want to realize that, but there is. So, as long as you own real estate at great prices and you work with good realtors, to get you in those
and even better property managers,
and to get you into those real estate properties at the right time, absolutely, it's a vital part of a portfolio and can provide for some good long-term benefit.
Right. So right now in the real estate market, the prices are really high. So there are still investors out there buying, but you really should buy for your return on investment. So people are putting money into real estate and there's not really a return on investment right now. We're kind of seeing that in a lot of, unless you buy you're savvy about what you purchase. Because I know she's looking at me like, no,
you can
there
still
are
make
people.
money. I want to disagree.
She wants to disagree. And I think you agree on that too. So that's where you're saying throw your money in stocks. Well, that market's really high, but the stock market's high.
Absolutely. So the stock market's in the same place as the real estate market, if we think about it, right? And so, to Rebecca's point, hey, you could still make money in the stock market too, right? Just as you can in real estate. There's still places to go and still deals to find when it comes to real estate and or stocks. And so, the key is working with a professional that you like and trust and can get the job done for you. So, absolutely, there's still upside, I think, in both those markets.
So what are the indicators that, if you're allowed to talk about this, because again, I don't know.
His face is saying, I don't know. He's about to Heisman you.
Where are you going with this question? I don't know.
Well, and I'm not talking about like a specific stock, but, you have a client that has, the desire, the risk factor to make some money. Are you able to say this, but what are some things that you're looking at with stocks to know that, okay, this might be a good one?
Sure. Our overall approach to investment obviously is, looking at every sector across the board and developing a portfolio for a client that is balanced. We are not index chasers. Okay. That's not the intent of what we do. If you want to go chase an index, then, that might be something you want to try on your own. We are trying to set clients up for long-term success. What that requires is having a plan. And so as we develop that plan, we can then help them with an allocation that helps them get there. There's obviously certain sectors at certain times that make more sense than others. Early this year was a great time to buy some oil and gas. It's obviously out of favor right now again. So, we look through different sectors at different times and try and make the right decision for clients about what to buy and when to buy it.
Now, even though gas is high, oil is high right now, if you have a client that's not diversified enough and they still need oil or gas,
absolutely,
are you going to still guide them to throw that in there?
Absolutely.
Or, add on to it, even though it's a little high right now?
100%. And obviously it depends on the risk level they're willing to take as an investor. So depending on that, certainly oil, gas, commodities are a great place to be right now and probably will be for a little while here in the foreseeable future as we continue to have inflation into the economy. So certainly if they can stomach that risk, then absolutely it can be a great place to be.
Okay. Well, I think we have to take a break now. So let's take our little break and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about retirement.
Gainesville's year-round warmth makes enjoying a cold beer an everyday occurrence for some who are lucky enough to visit and source beer from 3 local breweries. First Magnitude Brewing Company is a craft brewery and tap room with deep roots in the community. Located in downtown Gainesville, First Magnitude will not only wet your whistle with award-winning beer, but serve you an appreciation of Florida's natural springs. Cypress & Grove Brewing operates as a 15-barrel microbrewery in downtown Gainesville, whose cross street address was formerly known as Cypress & Grove, now 4th Street and 10th Avenue. The Cypress & Grove Brewing Company recipe uses artisan water from the original ice factory well that first occupied their current building, malted barley, hops, and yeast to craft their consistently evolving beer. Swamphead Brewery, known as the craft beer that is inherently Floridian, was founded by none other than a University of Florida alumni in 2008. The Wetlands is the name of the Swamphead's tasting room, which serves as a place to hang out, grab a cold one with friends, and enjoy a local sampling of bites from local food trucks, pairing cuisine with the taste of Florida beer.
Hello, we're back. That's a great little video there.
Now you know
Love
all
it.
about
Are there
the
stocks
Gainesville
in like
breweries.
beer? Just kidding.
I don't know. Are there beer stocks?
So we can't talk about the other kind of stocks?
There certainly are. Yes. But it's Labor Day, so probably a lot of people will enjoy that.
Exactly.
Video there.
There
They're
you go.
Perfect
probably
video
doing
for
that.
Labor Day. You are right.
Absolutely.
That
So you
and
wanted to talk
beaches.
about retirement.
Well, your conversation was really going into you're diversifying, their portfolio so that they're not chasing indexes. You're not buying and selling super quick every single day. You're trying to build a portfolio that probably is good for a retirement plan, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I always relate it back to the weather. I don't know why, but we want to try and weather all the storms because undoubtedly we're going to have another 10, 20, 30% decline in the markets at some point. We're going to have any day we can look up and have a reason why we don't want to invest in the markets or to buy real estate, right? Or there's always negatives. So we try and build a portfolio that'll help a client, once again, get to their goal. And for most of them, that is retirement, right?
Right, exactly.
Some people think they're going to work forever. I don't prefer to do that.
I'll
but
retire
some
when I'm
people will do that. So if we can help the client
That's a typical realtor
determine
right there.
I know.
what retirement looks like. And, for the 50 or 55-year-old, that's pretty easy. For the 35-year-old or 30-year-old,
Right.
they have no clue what retirement's going to look like.
Sure.
So it's a little more difficult. It makes the job a little more challenging. However, if you can see somebody go through that progression, it absolutely is very rewarding as well in our desk from where we sit. Yes.
I have a question. I don't know if it's made. What age do people typically retire? Like, and why?
What are
So
you, yeah, what are
here's
you
a
saying?
fun. I'll give you a fun fact. What does the IRS say retirement age is? Do we know?
Isn't it like 55, 56,
the
or
IRS
65?
wants you to retire?
Yeah. What do
Yeah.
they say?
It's
Do you know
pretty
what they say?
62?
59 and
Yeah.
a half.
Oh,
right?
you
There
know,
you go. We're not too far.
I'm going to say something. Sorry, Karen. I know you're probably listening. My mother retired. I'm trying to think how old she is. How old am I? I'm 39, so she must be 59.
Okay.
I think. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm really sorry, Karen. Anyways, she
Karen isn't
just
watching.
retired, and I told her, because I was like, what are you going to do? She's like, I don't know. I might not do anything. I was like, you're probably going to live another 40 years.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
And unless you want to go into a good home, you better start finding some money to come in. Because I think I think it's obscene.
You got to have money for the good home, though.
Well, Hannah, Samuel, they're talking to you. Rock, paper, scissors. Anyways, so why are people retiring so young? What are you going to do for 40
So
years?
that's again.
And
That's
are
what the
they still
well,
retiring
Well,
young?
yeah. So that's what the IRS says our retirement age. Social Security thinks something completely different, right? Social Security for
Social
most people
Security?
retiring, their full retirement benefit age is 66 or 67, depending on their
Which
year of
even
birth,
sounds young.
which
Yeah, still sounds
can be
young.
fairly young. But I think what you find most people, it's a good average of around 65, right? Some are a little before, some are a little later, but the average tends to be around that 65, range. I believe that the younger generation, that's going to continue to push. I would not be
agree.
surprised to see
I
that.
agree.
And
be
so many of us
70,
work from
72.
behind a computer. I can literally work anywhere. We've worked in the
Right.
Bahamas. We've worked.
Yep.
I worked in overseas. I'm like, so that's why I'm like, I'll retire when I'm dead because I can always make a little bit of money off
Absolutely.
of real estate. But so now we're all spoiled
Absolutely.
with technology. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we are.
So
It's a, what do they say, a blessing and a curse, right?
it is.
Right.
It is.
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay, I just find it fascinating that people want to retire so early because I'm like, I ask my mom, I'm like, what do you do all day? She paints doors. She mowed the grass for the first time in her life. She, I'm
my
like,
God.
She's saving money because she's in retirement.
no, she never. That's the thing. I'm so sorry. She's going to kill me. They didn't have a yard guy. They just,
Okay.
Let it
Craig did
grow,
on the
overgrow,
weekend. Yeah.
so now
they
it's
haven't cut
nice.
it in 50 years. So, no, they just,
must
she's
look
just
amazing
learning all
now.
these things now, painting
Yeah,
doors
but
and stuff.
what I find is when people retire in their 50s or that 59 age, they'll spend like a year or two doing something boring like that. Sorry, Karen, sounds boring.
Totally boring.
And then go back
Go
into
back for
something
it.
else, and that's sometimes hard to get in like a general job, but there are people who find
Well-
another way to make money.
If she's going to be like most retirees, she'll probably get into real estate.
Well,
So.
that's pretty much what I'm saying is that, there are ways to get into something that, you're not sitting at a desk, bored, working for someone else, you're an independent contractor as a realtor or, transaction coordinating, anything in that same line.
So if you're a retiree and you're looking for something to do, email us at, no, I'm just joking, join@buysellrebell.com and we'll help you get your license.
How hard is it to get your license?
It's very difficult. It's actually
Spoken like
very
somebody
difficult.
that doesn't want to share their industry.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
right.
I would love our industry. Actually, from a younger generational standpoint, is starving for people.
Really?
Oh,
It
wow.
absolutely is. The
Okay.
majority of advisors in our business are old or
Right.
50 and above. So if
They're
you're,
about
you're
to
watching
retire.
this and you're interested,
Go call
give me a
them.
call.
Okay, there you
Absolutely.
go. See, we
it's
didn't
an
even know
industry
that.
has a
Why
lot
is
of
that?
upside.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was obviously a period of time where Wall Street was Wall Street and probably had a bad name and
Sure.
bad
I get
connotation,
it,
and
yeah.
a lot of people didn't gravitate towards that industry, and so you had this big kind of gap of I had all these people that have been in advisors for a long time. We really never filled in behind them, and now we've got a decent little group of younger advisors coming through. But there absolutely is plenty of opportunity in this space, and it's could be very, very good.
True or false? People feel more confident with an older advisor or a younger, an older advisor. I guess
I
it's
would
true or
say
false.
probably the older advisor,
Yeah, well,
unless
it's-
you really know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's funny you say that. A lot of we find a lot of clients show up at the office that have older advisors, and what they say to us, and what we hear a lot is, "I don't want to outlive my advisor," or I don't want to outlive my advisor." Right?
Yeah.
And so if I work with somebody that's knowledgeable and younger and going to be around for a while, I know that they can help me through all the ages of life.
So what my thought is, they're not going to go with the 20-year-old
Right.
exactly who just started.
Probably not with
But
their $1 million
that
portfolio.
30, 40-year-old, right. So
Absolutely.
the newbie investors, it's really doesn't hurt to go with newbie financial advisors because you can learn together.
Absolutely.
But if you, like you just said, $1 million portfolio is not going to go for the newbies.
They're ageist, is what I just heard. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Well, that's normal. Everybody's ageist.
Hey, it's their money. It's
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I think it's also funny that they are worried about outliving the person, but I'm like, you could literally get hit by a bus. Like
100%.
Well,
so I'm like, you can't really, but I
we're
get
kind
what
of
they're
having
saying.
an issue with a family, but it doesn't have to do with financial advising. It has to do with their, all of their legal documents. And the attorney is 9 million years old. And so I'm trying to get them to, they're also older too, but I'm trying to get them to change all of their documentation, over to someone who can fix it and knows what they're doing and
Scan
isn't half the way
Scan
through.
it into the internet, the interwebs.
When they're asking for faxing documents, who has a
Say, no problem, Susan. Let me hop on my dinosaur and run over there. I saw Susan was the new Karen. Sorry. I don't know if that's true.
Actually, we had to
that's funny.
fax something the other day, and I had no idea how to do it.
I know that's the
Ours,
thing.
we
Nobody knows
scan
how to
it
do it,
and it goes
you
through
scan
like
it
a
into
fax.
the right. You scan
I
it in,
had
it goes to the
no
fax.
idea how to do it. Thank God I have a Kristen too, and she
Yes.
did wonderful.
And she can do that
she
for
got
you.
it done.
True or
From
false?
afar.
Your favorite clients are the ones that call daily to give you the market update.
Yeah, if they want to do my job, then that's we might need to talk about who's the client here and who's the advisor.
But do you like
but-
clients that call you and say, "Hey, I heard the stock was really good. Let's look into
Absolutely.
it"?
Just not every day.
I tell every client, it is their money, right? And-
Every day, if they want to call him and buy something else, he's going to make a little bit of money there. He probably doesn't
No,
mind.
I didn't say they bought. I said they
no.
report to you about
They
the
report,
market.
yep.
we encourage them, if you have input or there's something you want to buy or own, let's talk about it. So absolutely we want to hear from our clients, no doubt about that.
Well, we didn't really get through retirement. Do you have anything that you could,
you mentioned
advice?
something earlier, and I don't want to pick on Karen,
That's my mom.
Right.
mom, but you did mention something, and this is not directly towards Karen, but it might relate, is a lot of people think the finish line is retirement.
Right.
But it's
not.
really not. It's the halfway point, right?
Yep.
Once you get to retirement, you now have another 30, in your example, 40 years.
People are living to be 100. Everybody fights me on this, but I'm seeing more. It's like not a
Absolutely.
big
Yep.
deal to make it to 100 anymore because they're living to be 105.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So getting to retirement is great, but that's not the end of the game, and you still have to be an investor, and you still need to participate in the markets to be able to not outlive your money.
Right.
And she does
and
do
that's
all
the big
this,
thing.
so we love you, Karen. We know she met with
does
somebody
do that,
before
yeah.
she retired and all this, but
Made sure
I really
that
was
continues
like,
to make money.
I was like, you still got money, right? You're gonna be living at my house because we got a lot of laundry that needs folded, but I ain't paying what you are getting paid.
Her rate is probably very high.
Yes,
It is. She told
She
me
has
one
told
day.
you that.
She told me, she's like, I'm just going to move in with you and you could just pay me to run the kids around and do the
I remember
laundry and
when you
clean.
told me that.
She told me how much it was and I was like, you ain't trying to retire off me. No, ma'am. No. Yeah, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like,
So I have a question for you as it relates to retirement. Are you seeing a lot of people that are getting close to or are retiring, selling their homes and renting? Have you seen that trend at
That's
all?
a good question, but no, we have
Curious.
not seen
No.
that here.
we're actually, we need the boomers to get out of their houses to clear them up for people that are moving
Sorry,
up.
boomers.
Sorry, boomers. Like, pick on the millennials
I
all
mean-
the time. Let's just talk about y'all.
We're still seeing them move from the larger houses into smaller
downsizing,
houses. They are downsizing.
But they're still owning real estate.
But they've always downsized, and they always own
Yeah,
real
and
estate.
I find that a lot of them still work in some capacity
Now-
behind a computer screen.
I did just meet that Ocala house is actually with a renter, and he probably won't be watching this, so I can say this, but he's a renter. He's probably in his 40s. He's divorced, and will probably have to be moving out with the new owner coming in. And he was kind of, talking about how he doesn't want to go back to homeownership because renting is way easier for him. So I was a little shocked for his age group, to not own, because that's more shocking to me. Now, why do you ask the question about the older generation?
I just find that the flexibility, the one thing COVID did for us that was good is allowed people to realize that they can have flexibility in their life and in their work.
It's really great.
And so I'm just curious to see if that generation, as they get close to retirement, find ways to work behind a computer from anywhere, and therefore maybe they don't own real estate. That they
Ooh,
have
you
to,
know what?
to live in
I
every
do
day,
know
and
this.
They start traveling, and
They're
doing
actually
other
buying
things.
RVs, not rentals.
there you go.
Yes,
There's
they're
also
buying
young people.
Yes,
Yeah.
young people too. But they're buying RVs and then they're traveling. Now they find a spot. Like I know a family who found a spot in North Carolina, and that's where they park it.
They
But they're
park it.
traveling all the time. But they can still work from there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I actually
interesting.
have talked to a lot of people in their 30s that are they own homes, they're wanting to sell them, and they want to rent because home ownership is a pain in the neck.
That's
Everybody
that
finds
guy.
out.
Yeah, that's that guy.
They're like, wait, I have to, the roof leaked and
gotta
I
clean
have
the
to pay
gutters.
for it.
I
Yeah, they have to clean the gutters.
Yes.
I have to keep the yard up. I mean, so there's a lot. Home ownership is not for the faint
Which of
heart.
course does mean that tenants and renters want the
yes.
house to be absolutely perfect, more so
Absolutely.
now
Yeah.
than they did back in the day.
That makes it hard.
Because they
Yeah.
don't want the home ownership because they don't want to have to deal with all of that. They're probably, like you said, they also own RVs now. They're wanting to be flexible with their time and be out and about, but they still want their house sparkling. They still want everything done. So it's easier for them to rent and have it all done for them. Or there's probably going to be this desire for communities where everything is taken care
Everything's
of,
taken care of,
right?
yeah.
I think we're going to see real estate change. I know we didn't talk about this on this one, but we've talked about it before, where D.R. Horton built an entire neighborhood out, and an investment portfolio came in and bought it and they made a 33% return on it. The D.R. Horton,
The builder.
or I'm sorry, not a 33. They usually make 33% return. They made like 150% return on the property because they leased it out and then sold it off as investment. And now they're looking at that model. So to me, I almost am worried that big builders, which is what the world is kind of
That's
coming
what
down
D.R.
to,
Horton is, right?
is going to start going, why am I building it and dealing with people and their headaches for a year with their warranty items? And if you're not in somebody that has to deal with that, let me assure you, it is a headache at times.
Yes.
When I could build them, lease them, and sell them for a huge profit. So I think home ownership will change because I do think people are looking at it going, oh, this is a lot more work. So
And you're hearing that more often. That's why that tiny house movement was rocking right before COVID
I just
hit.
can't fit all my crap in a trailer.
I know,
or a
but it's
tiny
this
house.
whole idea
my
of
sister
not
in
the
her
minimalist
20s,
idea.
and has
She's
lived
living in an RV.
She's lived
I
in
don't
an
know where I
RV
put
for
it
2
all.
years. She has 3 kids under 5, and I love you, Hannah, but you are crazy.
I think you're crazy too.
They're working to build a house,
no.
but they're in no rush. She's like, it happens when it happens. They're
Doesn't wanna
saving
pay
money.
these premiums.
Yeah,
with
and they're
all the
perfectly happy.
Material rise cost. Right?
Yeah. So I'm like,
Crazy.
but
So
I'm
yeah,
like,
it's happening. And then we talked about, it looked like everybody was moving back out into the country because they didn't have to be in the city. But we're again seeing these smaller house movements come back. Maybe not tiny, because tiny's like 200 square feet, but they're going like 400 to 600 square feet.
I think
and that's all they want to live in.
like 11
So
to
it's coming back.
1,700 square feet is ideal for most people that I meet, because what people don't realize when they get into these 3,000, 4,000 square foot houses, the upkeep and maintenance and expense is astronomical.
It's nonstop.
And you're constantly having to do things to keep things up. If you're a crazy perfectionist, like I'm always
You're a clean
very
freak.
worried
Yeah,
about
clean
things.
Clean
Yeah.
freaks,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, clean freaks unite.
Yes.
So I'm always like scrubbing walls and touching things up. So it's like time consuming and energy consuming to have to deal with all that. But people don't realize. So I like it when I see people buy like 1,100 to 1,700 square feet, because I'm like, I can clean that in 3 hours. So the average person's probably doing it in like a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
We are clean freaks in my household. Yes.
Yes.
we know
So
that.
much so that the
We know
neighbors,
that
the
about you.
neighbors' kids actually commented to their parents how clean our house was.
wow, it's
Why? Because you weren't allowing them to play
No,
indoors.
no, they were actually dog sitting when neighbor. We have great neighbors, by the way, great neighbors, and they came over and helped watch the dog some, and I guess they were impressed how clean the house was. So it was kind of funny.
yeah.
Right,
It
great.
seems very normal to me,
It's
but I
normal.
understand
It's normal to me.
clean.
I'm like,
To
clean?
me, your house looks normal, but I understand what they're saying, because I could tell you when we do property inspections, I'm like, why?
people live like this?
I'm just like, how do you not know? Why is my shoe stuck to the ground?
Accumulation of junk, and then also just not cleaning.
Yeah. So.
Like God made drawers for a reason, right?
and furniture with drawers, like
And
tuck
the
it
trash
away.
can. Oh, sorry.
Put stuff in it. Man.
Yes.
Put stuff in it.
Organize
Fill
it.
up.
Organize it and put it in the
There's
drawer.
lots of lovely baskets and boxes that you can organize
Yes,
in, rather than
absolutely.
just leaving it out. Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. Thanks for
Yeah,
being
thanks
on
for
the
having
show,
me.
for
Absolutely.
sure. And let's go through our lovely slides that we do. Thank
All
you, everyone,
right.
for watching also,
Yes,
by the way.
especially Karen and Hannah. We love you. All right. So if you have an investment property that you're tired of managing and you're worried about it being clean and kept up, you can call me in today's world. And I would be happy to help you with that. Our team is ready to go. Also, if you're concerned about the Gainesville landlord permits that are coming out,
We know
call
what's
us.
going on.
We're happy to help you get organized and going on that new front. So that
Never
starts
thought of
October
this.
1st.
This is the new phone. It's not this.
They ask children to do it, and I even asked my kid, and I was like, act like you're going to call me with your hand. And of course, they looked at me like I had 6 heads, and she went like this, and I'm like, girl,
Wow.
it's like this.
Okay.
So
Have you seen this yet? No, it's
Okay.
still like this. Okay, old school.
Yeah,
That's
so,
true. That's
you
true.
know,
Your kid's a little younger.
give it a couple years. All right. So
right.
K&R Property Management, where
There we
we
go.
invest in your investment.
Love it. Okay, if you're looking to join a real estate team, get into real estate, change your real estate career, you can email us at join@buysellerrebell.com. We will answer all your questions and give you the number so you can call us.
Yes. Looking to get social or can't get enough of our zany fun? Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. Who knows? We might give away Gator tickets again sometime
there
soon.
you go.
Like
Like
and
and subscribe our YouTube page. Thank you. And of course, do you yet know that we have a blog?
I
If
did
you
not.
don't yet know, we do have one. And
What?
that's where you can read great articles, all of this content that we have. We put that there for you to read also by sellrebell.com/blog.
And are you thinking about a podcast? Maybe Mr. Barker's thinking about a
Yeah,
podcast.
there
You
you go.
can contact Fiesta Media at 352-327-5089.
And this is where you start. You start right here at this table with us. Find out how fun it is, right, Matt?
It's awesome. Been fun. Yes.
And then you go ahead and start your own with Fiesta Media. And we also want to thank Fiesta Media and wish him a happy birthday. It was last week. We did not wish it on Monday, so we're wishing it now. So happy birthday. And thank you so much, Fiesta Media, for doing this for us. We love it. And we thank all of you who have watched us after the fact or live. We appreciate you. And you'll see us next week, or we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.